The lights cut out, and the silence is thick. The fridge hum dies, the food smell turns sour, and your phone blinks at 7%. No power, no Wi-Fi, no idea when it's coming back. Now imagine 3 full days like that. The stove's cold, your radio's dead, and the only sound is the wind. What do? Here's the shocking truth most people don't want to hear. All those modern prep lists online, half of them collapse the minute the grid does. Flashlights die, generators run out of fuel, but the Amish, they live this way every single day, and their tools never need a single watt. I'm John. I've been testing off-grid and Amish survival methods since 2015. Real tools, real outages, no hype. And let me tell you, the biggest prep mistake I ever made was trusting batteries over brains. During the 2024 Midwest storms, over 700,000 homes went dark for days. NERC's 2025 report says grid stress and plant retirements are only getting worse. Translation, longer blackouts are coming, not just maybe. Today I'm sharing 11 blackout supplies the Amish rely on daily, items most people have never even seen. Real prices, real use cases, and the one at number 7, it's the single best way to cook hot meals with zero power. Mine cost under $100. Here's the thing. The Department of Energy says outage risks are climbing fast. So before the next blackout hits, grab these while they're still easy to find. Because when the lights go out, only the prepared stay calm. Item 1. Thermal haybox cooker. Look, when the power's out and your stove's nothing but cold metal, most folks panic. But the Amish, they just keep cooking. No noise, no smoke, no fuel burn. The secret? Something called a thermal cooker. It looks simple. An insulated pot that traps heat so well, it finishes cooking your food hours after you turn the burner off. You bring your stew, rice, or soup to a rolling boil, seal it inside, and walk away. That's it. 6 hours later, piping hot meal. No fuel, no stress. Now here's the crazy part. Most preppers ignore it because it's not flashy. No buttons, no digital display, no solar panels. But when outages drag past day 2, this quiet tool becomes priceless. According to recent data from Amazon and Zojirushi listings, modern thermal cookers like the Shuttle Chef or Thermos models hold safe cooking temps for 8 to 12 hours, some even 14 plus depending on size. That's all-day heat retention without burning an ounce of propane. Prices right now sit between $90 and $230, depending on brand and capacity. And I'll tell you, they're still in stock, but larger models are starting to get spotty, especially in spring and summer when camping demand spikes, so timing matters. Users love them for no electricity meals and flavor retention. The only complaints? Weight and needing an initial heat source. But think about it. Boil once on a camp stove or barbecue, and you're done cooking for the rest of the day. Want to know the smart twist? You can DIY one. That's right. Wrap a heavy pot in old blankets or insulation, just like the Amish families did 100 years ago. Costs almost nothing, works like a charm. Pro tip, if you wrap it tighter, even throw an extra towel around the lid, you can stretch your hot hold time by 2 extra hours. And wait till you hear how this pairs with item number 2, because once you can cook off grid, the next step is how to keep that heat working for you. Item number 2, hand crank grain mill. Ever notice how fast store shelves clear when a storm's coming? Bread, flour, cereal, gone in hours. But the Amish, they don't panic because they don't need the store. They grind their own grain right at home with a tool that never needs electricity. It's called a hand crank grain mill, and it's one of those brutally simple tools that keeps you fed when everything else fails. You pour in wheat, oats, corn, even beans, and turn the handle. That's it. Within minutes, you've got flour, meal, or mash ready for baking, cooking, or trading. Now here's what most people don't realize. Fresh ground grain isn't just survival food, it's better food. Higher nutrition, longer storage life, and it smells incredible when you cook it. That warm, nutty scent to fresh flour, you can't buy that prepackaged. Look, I've tested these things. Sheep mills clog, wobble, or break after a few uses. But solid cast iron models like the Country Living Mill, Wonder Mill Jr., or Layman's Clamp-On are built to last decades. Prices in 2025 range between $120 and $350, depending on size and build. And according to user reviews from Amazon and Layman's, good models grind a pound of wheat in under 10 minutes, and with practice, even faster. That's a few turns of a handle and a loaf of bread without a power plug in sight. Availability right now? Still good, but supply chain data from Lehman's shows intermittent delays for premium cast iron parts. Translation: when demand spikes, they vanish fast. Now you might be thinking, do I really need this? Here's the thing. Grain stores for years. Flour doesn't. So when your bag of store-bought flour spoils or bugs get in, whole grains stay safe and ready. Pro tip: pair your hand mill with vacuum-sealed grain jars or mylar bags. That combo gives you a self-contained, zero-electricity food system. And here's where it gets interesting. Combine this with the thermal cooker from item 1 and you're not just surviving blackouts, you're thriving. Wait until you see item number 3. It's what the Amish use to store and preserve food without a single volt of power. Item 3. Rocket stove. When the grid collapses and the propane grill's out of fuel, you're tempted to think, okay, campfire it is. But here's the thing. Open fires are inefficient, smoky, and fuel-hungry. What if I told you there's a stove the Amish would quietly approve of? A rocket stove that uses twigs, biomass, and burns hotter and cleaner than that campfire you were about to build. A rocket stove works like this. You feed a few small sticks or charcoal into a vertical insulated combustion chamber, light it, slide your pot on top, and the design forces the gases to mix with flame so you get big heat with tiny fuel. The EcoZoom Versa and Dura models, for example, feature a cast iron 3-prong top, refractory metal-lined chamber, and fully insulated body. Now, why this is overlooked? Most folks buy fancy solar ovens or gas canister stoves and assume biomass is messy. But in a long blackout, biomass is everywhere. Fallen twigs, charcoal briquettes, scrap wood. The rocket stove lets you cook, boil water, heat a pot without relying on compressed gas or batteries. Efficiency is key. One test of the Versa shows that just 3 small pieces of wood were enough to cook about 1 kilogram of rice or boil 5 liters of water in 20 minutes. Pricing? Not trivial, but very reasonable given the capability. In the UK listings, the Dura model shows around £92, approximately 110 to 130 USD for a new unit. Supply chain is decent now, but premium units can have back orders, especially when prepping spikes. User feedback highlights incredible fuel savings and high output. The handles stay cool thanks to silicone grips, pots sit firmly on the cast iron top, even heavy cast iron skillets. Some complaints though: you must use it outdoors or in very well ventilated space, carbon monoxide risk, and it takes a bit more attention than an electric stove. Community users write, I can't get a fire to stay lit, it's acting oxygen-starved. Practical use cases? Number 1. After your fridge dies, you're prepping dinner on the back patio. Set up the rocket stove, feed it dry twigs collected from your yard, simmer a stew, boil water. Number 2. Sterilize water. Heat large pots for canning, even small group baking. Yes, you can adapt it for that heavy cast iron pan. Common mistake to avoid? Don't try to use it indoors or poorly ventilated. Serious hazard. Don't expect it to behave like a propane burner. Instead, use dry biomass, keep the doors or dampers adjusted for airflow, and monitor it. Pro tip: position it on a non-combustible platform and stock up on dry sticks, charcoal briquettes, or scrap wood in sealed containers. Keep a cast iron skillet sized for it, so when the outage hits, you're ready. Item 4. Amish oil lamps and kerosene lanterns. When the power goes out, what's the first thing you reach for? Most people grab a flashlight. until the batteries die. Then it's candles, if you can find them. But the Amish? They just strike a match, and their homes fill with warm, steady light. No flicker, no panic. That's the power of a kerosene or oil lamp, an old-school tool that's quietly made a comeback in 2024 to 2025 among serious preppers and off-gridders. These things aren't just nostalgic, they're engineered for reliability. Here's the thing. An Amish-style oil lamp isn't like the decorative ones you see online. We're talking heavy glass reservoirs, thick wicks, and metal burners that can last decades. Models like the Feuerhand Baby Special 276, Dietz 80 Blizzard, or Lehman's Amish wall lamp are built for real use, not display shelves. Right now, prices range from $40 to $120 depending on model and size. According to Lehman's and Amazon listings in 2025, supply is solid but fluctuates every winter when power outages spike. And trust me, when the lights go out, they sell out fast. Performance-wise, these lamps burn for 12 to 20 hours on a single fill of clear lamp oil or kerosene. That's full night lighting with a calm, steady glow that won't wreck your night vision or trigger headaches like LED glare. Many models are rated for around 7,000 to 9,000 BTU heat output, enough to slightly warm a small room or tent, an underrated bonus in winter outages. Now let's talk practicality. During the 2024 Midwest ice storms, thousands were without power for over a week. Battery lights started fading by day 3. But Amish households, they just refilled their lamps each night and kept going. Want a pro tip? Store odorless lamp oil instead of standard kerosene. It burns cleaner with less soot buildup. And always trim the wick evenly. That's the secret to a smooth flame without smoke. Common mistake? People forget about ventilation. Even though these lamps burn clean, you still want a cracked window if you're using several indoors. And if you're on a budget, grab a few small flat-wick hurricane lamps or even thrifted mason jar lamp kits. Amish families often make those themselves for under $10. Now, here's where this gets powerful. Pair your oil lamp with the rocket stove from item 3 and you've got light and heat completely off-grid. Wait until you see item number 5. It's how Amish families refrigerate food without electricity at all. Item 5. Amish off-grid refrigeration and cold storage systems. Ever wonder how the Amish keep milk, meat, and butter cold with no electricity, no generator, no problem? Here's the secret. They don't rely on a single fridge. They use systems, layered, low-tech methods that work year-round. Picture this. It's midsummer, 92 degrees outside, but inside an Amish kitchen, the butter's firm, the milk's cool, and the meat's still safe to cook. No hum of compressors, no blinking lights, just silent, steady cold from tools anyone can use. Let's break it down. The first piece is the propane or natural gas refrigerator, like the ones made by Premier, Danby, or Easy Freeze. These are full-size fridges, just without the plug. They use heat from a small propane flame to drive an absorption cooling cycle. No moving parts, no electricity, just chemistry and reliability. The best models run for 2 to 3 weeks on a standard 20-pound propane tank and cost around $900 to $1,400 as of 2025. That's not cheap, but compared to losing a freezer full of food during a blackout, it's a solid insurance policy. Then there's the ice house system, an Amish classic that goes back generations. In winter, they harvest giant ice blocks from ponds, store them in sawdust-insulated cellars, and that ice lasts into summer. A properly built ice house can keep food cool for 6 to 8 months, purely on stored cold. Some modern preppers have replicated this using insulated chest freezers converted into passive coolers with straw bales. The same principle, no tech required. For smaller setups, the root cellar is king. It uses stable underground temperatures to keep produce like potatoes, carrots, and apples fresh for 4 to 6 months. You can build one with cinder blocks, a vent pipe for airflow, and a simple hatch door. Cost? Often under $300 if you DIY it. During the 2024 Texas grid event, when power was out for days and freezers failed, families with even a basic cellar or propane fridge didn't lose a single pound of food. Everyone else? Thousands in spoiled groceries. Here's the bottom line. The Amish approach isn't magic, it's layered redundancy. Propane for perishables, root cellars for bulk, and ice storage for backup. Because when the grid fails, refrigeration isn't a luxury, it's survival. And wait until you hear what's next. Item 6, the Amish heating method that works with zero power and costs pennies per hour to run. Item 6, Amish wood and coal heating systems. When the power goes out in winter, most homes turn cold within hours. You can pile on blankets, but once that thermostat drops below 50 degrees F, pipes freeze, water lines burst, and morale crashes. The Amish, they just add another log to the stove and keep the coffee hot. Their secret is simple but genius. Wood and coal heating systems that need zero electricity. No fans, no igniters, no smart thermostats. Just raw mechanical heat that works every single time. Let's start with the classic, the Amish wood stove. Models like the Kitchen Queen, Baker's Choice, and Margin Gem aren't just heaters, they're full cooking stations. Heavy cast iron, built-in ovens, and water jackets that can even heat your domestic water supply. These stoves can heat 1,500 to 2,500 square feet easily. You load it once, adjust the air vent, and it'll burn 6 to 10 hours on a single charge of hardwood. Cost-wise, you're looking at around $1,200 to $2,000, but the payoff? Lifelong reliability. No fuel pumps, no filters, no sensors that fail in the cold. Just wood, the oldest and most renewable fuel we've got. Now when deep winter hits, especially in northern states, the Amish switch to coal burners. Why? Because coal burns hotter and longer. One bucket can last 12 to 24 hours, delivering steady heat that doesn't fluctuate. Models like the Hitzer 254 stove or Lehman's Amish coal heater are famous for simplicity, gravity-fed, manually vented, indestructible. Here's the kicker. During the 2024 Midwest cold snap, over 200,000 homes lost power for more than 4 days. Electric space heaters? Dead weight. Gas furnaces? Needed electric blowers. But Amish families stayed warm, cooked meals, and even heated wash water, all off-grid. Maintenance is minimal. Clean the flue twice a season, empty ash pans weekly, and you're good. Keep a few cords of dry hardwood or 500 pounds of bagged anthracite, and you've got months of heat independence. Want to boost efficiency? Pair your stove with thermal mass, like bricks or stone around it, to store and radiate heat overnight. That's how Amish homes stay warm till morning without constant feeding. Here's the takeaway. When the grid heat fails, Amish systems don't blink. Firewood, coal, and know-how, that's resilience in its purest form. And coming up next, Item 7, the Amish water system that keeps running when every electric pump shuts down. Item 7, Amish gravity-fed and hand-pump water systems. When the power dies, water usually follows. Faucets go dry, toilets won't flush, and panic sets in fast. But if you drive through Amish country during a blackout, you'll still see families filling buckets, washing clothes, and boiling tea, all without a single watt of power. How? Gravity-fed and hand-pump water systems. These setups are brutally simple, and that's exactly why they work. No electric pressure pumps, no circuit boards, no Wi-Fi valves. Just mechanical muscle, gravity, and smart design. Let's start with the hand pump, the classic. Brands like Lehman's Deep Well Hand Pump or Bison Pump are built from stainless steel, and they can draw clean water from 100 feet or deeper. One person can easily fill a gallon every 20 to 30 seconds with steady pumping. It's quiet, reliable, and lasts decades. Many Amish families have one right next to their electric pump, redundancy at its finest. Then there's the gravity-fed tank system, water stored in a cistern or elevated barrel that flows downward by gravity alone. The setup's simple. Collect rainwater or pump from a well manually, fill the tank, and let physics do the rest. No electricity, no moving parts. just pressure from height. It's how entire Amish homesteads run sinks, showers, and even livestock troughs when everyone else is rationing bottled water. Prices range widely. A solid hand pump might cost $300 to $800, while a basic gravity setup can be built DIY for under $150, using food-grade barrels, PVC lines, and elevation. And here's the kicker. During the 2025 Midwest grid test outage, households with manual or gravity-fed systems were the only ones still running water after 48 hours. Now, there are a few tricks the Amish swear by. Keep 2 containers, one for clean water, one for gray water reuse, like flushing or washing. Paint above-ground tanks dark to prevent algae growth, and always insulate hand pumps in winter. A frozen pump is just an expensive ice sculpture. Imagine this. The grid's down, your neighbors are melting snow in buckets, and you're still washing dishes under running water. That's not luck, that's preparation. And here's the best part. In the next item, we'll cover the Amish cold storage secret that keeps food fresh for weeks without electricity. It's genius, low cost, and 100% off-grid. Item 8. Amish root cellars and non-electric refrigeration systems. Here's a brutal truth most people ignore. When the power's out for days, your fridge turns into a ticking bomb for spoiled food. Meat, dairy, even veggies, all gone within 24 hours. But the Amish? They've been living without electric refrigeration for over a century and eating better than most of us. Their secret isn't high-tech. It's dirt simple, literally. It's called a root cellar, a naturally cooled underground storage room that uses the Earth's stable temperature, usually around 50 to 55 degrees Fahrenheit year-round, to keep food fresh without a single watt of power. Walk into an Amish homestead in Lancaster or Holmes County, and you'll find rows of canned goods, potatoes, apples, carrots, even cured meats stacked neatly along stone walls. No buzzing compressors, no glowing LEDs, just cool, still air. It's like stepping into a time capsule of resilience. Here's the science. Below the frost line, ground temperature barely changes with the seasons. That means your produce stays crisp, your jars stay preserved, and humidity prevents dehydration. In modern tests, properly built root cellars can extend produce life 3 to 6 months longer than basement storage. That's survival-grade efficiency. Now, if you don't have acreage, don't panic. You can still build a mini version. A buried barrel or insulated bin setup can mimic the same effect for under $100. And if you're more modern-minded, Amish suppliers sell ice-cooled non-electric fridges that run on block ice using insulated cabinets to keep milk cold for 5 to 7 days per refill. They're simple, reliable, and completely grid independent. One Pennsylvania farmer told me his root cellar kept 300 pounds of potatoes edible through a 17-day power outage. That's not backup. That's insurance. Here's the thing most people miss. Refrigeration isn't about luxury. It's about time. Time to plan, time to ration, time to adapt. And once you take electricity out of the equation, you take control back into your hands. Pro tip. Add a battery-free thermometer and moisture gauge to your root cellar. Small tools, huge payoff. Because when the next blackout hits and your fridge hums to a stop, you'll be smiling, standing in a cool, quiet cellar surrounded by months of food security. And up next, we'll look at the Amish lighting systems that work through every storm. No wires, no noise, no failure points. Item 9. Amish lighting systems, kerosene, mantle, and LED battery hybrids. When the grid goes down, most people panic the moment the lights flicker out. You hear it every time, that awkward silence, then the scramble for flashlights and dead batteries. But take a drive through Amish country during a blackout and you'll see something surreal. Warm, steady light glowing from every window. No noise, no hum, just calm. How? Because the Amish mastered lighting that doesn't depend on the grid. Kerosene lamps, pressurized mantle lanterns, and LED battery systems powered by simple, rechargeable batteries or solar trickle chargers. 3 systems: redundant, reliable, and time-tested. Let's start with kerosene, the old standby. A single gallon burns for 40 to 50 hours in a basic hurricane lamp. No wiring, no switches, no drama. Models like Dietz or Feuerhand are legendary, the same brands used since the 1800s. Amish homes keep several of these filled and ready, because when modern folks are fumbling for candles, they're already cooking, reading, or sewing by lamplight. Now the next level, mantle lanterns like the Coleman 285 or Petromax HK 500. These are pressure-fed lamps that burn kerosene, white gas, or propane, producing light equivalent to a 100 to 150 watt bulb. That's serious illumination. Many preppers overlook them because they seem old-fashioned, but here's the truth. They're efficient, cheap to run, and last decades with simple maintenance. Then there's the modern twist the Amish are quietly adopting. 12V LED battery lights recharged via small solar panels or crank dynamos. These hybrid setups blend old and new, quiet as a whisper, bright as a lantern, and zero dependence on the grid. A single 20-watt solar panel can keep an entire room lit indefinitely. Here's the real takeaway. Light equals safety. It's psychological. It keeps morale up and danger visible. During the 2024 Midwest ice storms, households using off-grid lighting reported higher confidence, fewer accidents, and lower fuel consumption compared to generator users. Pro tip: store lamp oil in metal cans, not plastic, and always keep extra wicks on hand. Because in a real blackout, when the street's dark and silent, that steady glow from your window won't just mean comfort, it'll mean control. And wait till you see what's next. How the Amish keep their entire homes warm without touching a thermostat, even in sub-zero nights. Item 10. Amish wood heating and rocket mass stoves. When the power dies in the middle of winter, modern homes turn into refrigerators within hours. No electric furnace, no gas ignition, no heat. Just the sound of the wind sneaking through the windows. But out in Amish country, families are still warm, cooking dinner, and drying clothes by a steady, radiant fire. Their secret is as old as civilization. Wood heat, perfected through generations of off-grid living. Not just a fireplace. We're talking wood cook stoves, box heaters, and the modern off-grid marvel, the rocket mass stove. Let's start with the classic Amish wood cook stove, brands like Margin, Flameview, or Kitchen Queen. These beasts don't just heat the house. They cook meals, boil water, and even bake bread using nothing but hardwood. One load of oak or maple can burn 6 to 8 hours, keeping a medium-sized home at a steady 70 degrees Fahrenheit, even during sub-zero nights. And the best part? No moving parts, no gas lines, no electricity, just honest heat. Then there's the rocket mass stove, a survivalist favorite that's surprisingly Amish approved. It burns small sticks, twigs, or scrap wood at near complete efficiency, producing almost zero smoke. With internal temperatures hitting 1,000 degrees Celsius, it extracts every bit of energy from fuel. Add a built-in bench or cob mass, and that heat radiates for 10 to 12 hours after the fire's out. That's smart thermodynamics, not tech dependency. According to 2025 efficiency tests, rocket stoves use 70 to 80% less wood than standard stoves. That's huge when supply chains break down. Are weak or fuels expensive? The Amish have quietly adopted these designs in workshops and greenhouses, combining old-world woodcraft with modern airflow engineering. And let's not forget the psychological edge. Firelight means comfort. The sound of crackling wood, the smell of smoke, it reminds you you're still in control when the world outside feels frozen. Now, there are mistakes to avoid. Never burn green wood. Always vent properly and keep carbon monoxide detectors. Yes, even off-gridders use them. Here's the truth. Heat is survival. It's not optional. It's life. Because when the next winter blackout hits and your thermostat flashes error, that glowing stove in the corner won't just warm your hands. It'll remind you that real resilience doesn't need a switch. And next, we'll talk about how the Amish power essential tools without a grid, a generator, or even a gas can. Item 11. Amish off-grid power, hand crank and 12-volt systems. When everything goes dark, lights, phones, chargers, that's when you realize just how fragile modern power really is. No outlets, no Wi-Fi, no charging, just silence, except maybe for the steady hum of an Amish workshop. See, the Amish don't rely on the grid. They've mastered low-voltage and hand-powered systems that keep essential tools running even during total outages. Their approach isn't about high-tech solar farms or massive batteries. It's simple, mechanical, and proven. Let's start with the hand-crank generator, a survival staple that most preppers overlook. It's not just for flashlights anymore. Newer models like the K-Tour Pocket Socket or Goal Zero hand cranks can charge radios, phones, and LED lanterns with nothing but elbow grease. 1 minute of cranking gives you roughly 10 minutes of phone standby or a full radio broadcast. Sounds small until you're 36 hours into a blackout with no other options. But here's where the Amish level it up. 12-volt DC systems. These are the backbone of their off-grid setups. Think deep cycle batteries, small solar panels, and DC appliances, fans, LED lights, and even slow cookers designed to run on car-style power. Simple, repairable, and incredibly efficient. A single 100-watt panel paired with a marine battery can run critical lighting, radios, and small devices for days. And the best part? You can assemble that entire setup for under $300 in 2025 prices, far cheaper than a gas generator and without the noise or fuel storage issues. Amish homes often combine both, small solar during the day, crank or pedal power at night. It's redundancy without complexity, what survival should be. No apps, no fragile inverters, just systems that always work. One Amish farmer I read about in Holmes County, Ohio, keeps his entire milk cooling fan system on a 12-volt loop, powered by 2 solar panels and a bike-powered generator. No grid, zero downtime. Now, common mistake, trying to run everything. Don't. Focus on critical loads, light, comms, heat circulation. Efficiency beats abundance. Here's the brutal truth. Power is freedom. When the grid collapses, it's not the loudest generator that wins. It's the quiet, self-sufficient systems that keep running while everyone else waits for the lights to come back on. And that's exactly what the Amish perfected. Independence without dependence. Here's where it all comes together, the advanced layer. See, most people think prepping is about stockpiling, but the Amish, they think in systems. Redundancy, rotation, and rhythm. Let's start with what I call hybrid redundancy. It's simple but brilliant. Pair a thermal cooker, a small rocket stove, and 1 portable power station. 3 layers, 0 weak links. The rocket stove gives you flame, fast, efficient cooking with twigs or scrap wood. The thermal cooker traps that heat for hours, no fuel required. And the power station, that's your lifeline for radios, comms, and light. Together, they form a closed loop, food, heat, and power, all working without the grid. No single point of failure. That's how you build real resilience. Now, here's another Amish secret most preppers overlook. Preservation rotation. It's not just about canning jars stacked in a cellar. It's a living system. You dry food with a solar dehydrator when the sun is strong. You can and pickle when crops peak. And you rely on cold root cellars once the frost hits. Each method backs up the other, meaning you don't depend on a fridge that dies the second power flickers. Even Lehman's, that old Amish supply company, warns about jar shortages and seasonal bottlenecks, so if you haven't stocked lids and jars yet, do it now. But, and this is critical, don't make rookie mistakes. One big one? Using pressure lamps in tight spaces. Sounds harmless until you remember they burn oxygen. Without ventilation, you're building CO in the air, fast.